great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Now, one of my favorite things is like Godzilla has that little bass solo in there.
Yes.
How'd that come about? Because there
Well,
aren't a lot of bass solos in songs especially
yeah,
back
I, don't-
then.
I wasn't a big on bass solos. I was pretty much the guy who just kept the foundation,
Mm-hmm.
keep the thing going, make a nice groove. But once in a while, they would let me loose,
Nice, nice.
and I would play a little riff. We did. We knew Godzilla was going to be a really important song for us.
Mm.
So we worked on the basic track, just the basic track, for 2 days straight in the studio. And by the time we got to the best track, the one that you hear, I think it was take 54.
Whoa.
And so by the time you get over 50, you start getting no punchies,
Oh, yeah.
anything. I'll play anything this time.
Yeah.
And that solo only happened once.
Ah.
And it was like take 54. I played that one solo, and then we did a couple takes after that, but I didn't have the same vibe to it,
Mm-hmm.
So the producers luckily said, that's the one. And we went back and listened to it again and said, wow, where did that come from? Well, I don't know. I was just, I had to put something in there, and, I was ready to do anything at that point,
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a great track. It is a great
Definitely.
track.
That hasn't aged at all.
Good riff. No. And they finally used it. They finally used it on a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, really.
We asked them for 30 years. Every time a Godzilla movie would come out, we say, yeah, you got to use our song. No, we're going to use Puff Daddy instead. Puff
Yeah,
Daddy?
really.
What?
Really?
So, but the politics of movie making is different from like the record business.
Yeah, definitely.
And but then finally they came to their senses. The last Godzilla movie, they did a cover version sung by the guy from System of a Down, which I really liked.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put our song in the final credits of the movie, and it sounds great.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. So who were some of your bass heroes back in the day?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Jack Cassidy.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, people don't, talk about Jack Cassidy that much because there's so many others. There's, Jack Bruce, John Entwistle, and they're all big heroes of mine, But
Yeah.
I really like Jack Cassidy when he played with the Jefferson Airplane,
Mm.
and then he was with Starship, and he still plays with Hot Tuna.
Oh.
Yeah, he still plays with Hot Tuna even up to this day. He's a great bass player, very supportive, but also has a great style. And he plays chords and he plays all kinds of different riffs. But I like Jack. Oh, now can I add one more?
Yeah.
Chris Hillman.
Ooh, from where?
Chris Hillman from the Byrds.
Oh, the Byrds. Okay.
Chris Hillman was a singer and mandolin player, but he influenced me a lot. If you listen very carefully to The Reaper, you'll hear some Chris Hillman influence.
Oh, okay.
And I got to meet Chris Hillman because he does a bluegrass show now.
Yeah.
He does a bluegrass show and plays with a friend of mine, so I got to meet him a couple times. And every time I see him, I got to tell him, man, your bass style has really influenced me, There would be no Reaper without, Chris Hillman's bass on a song called So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star.
Oh.
There's a lot of
I remember that
similarities between the two songs.
Oh.
So I think those two guys, McCartney was a big influence.
Oh.
He and Ringo let's face it, he and Ringo just locked together in a very magical way. And that's what I tried to do with my brother, that we could lock together and get that special thing happening and give Buck Dharma, who is one of the great guitar players of all time, give him a great platform for him to shine. And that's what we tried to do. And people are still listening to the music. I can't believe it after all these years. You know?
Well, you guys got to tour with a lot of bands back in the day. Was there a favorite one you liked to hang out with?
Oh, I love Cheap Trick.
Oh, yes.
I love those Cheap Trick guys. I was just talking to somebody from Rockford, Illinois, and I says, I know who lives in Rockford.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, it's Cheap Trick.
Yeah. We're 20 minutes away from Rockford.
They were great.
Yeah.
We played a whole summer with them.
Ooh.
And it was every day to watch them do their show was amazing. There were so many others. I mean, we saw Aerosmith when they were terrible. We saw Aerosmith when they were great. You know, we toured with Rush a lot. We toured with Black Sabbath and Alice Cooper. Those are experiences that are definitely once in a lifetime, and I played 1,400 shows with Blue Oyster Cult.
Wow.
I still hold the record as the longest continuous bass player.
Nice. Nice.
With those guys.
Nice. So one band I got to ask you about. What did you think when Kiss opened for you guys the first time? Did you get a chance to see them and see their deal?
The first show they did was in New York City, and I was out at dinner, the next door at Luchow's for dinner. I went out to dinner, so I missed their show. But everybody, the whole crew was talking about it. It was really... Gene's hair caught on fire.
Oh, that was the night? Oh.
That's the night that his hair caught on fire. He had so much hairspray, it was so big, and he was blowing fire out of his mouth that his hair caught on fire. Rhodey had to come out with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and put him out. Nice.
They thought it was part of the show.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was real.
Man.
So anyway, they got on tour with us. We're out. Toured a whole summer with Kids, and I went to see them. I wanted to see what it was like from the audience. So I snuck into the balcony of this theater, the Michigan Palace in Detroit.
Oh.
Nobody, I could pretty much walk around in my street clothes and nobody know who I was. So I go up to the balcony, and I was in the back seat of the balcony and just watching Kiss. And I said, "Holy mackerel! This is intense," And because the show was so over the top. Even in the small theater, they had the fireworks. Everything was going. It was really, it really was insane. Actually, we did a show last summer. A band that I play with called Blue Coop in Sweden. And Kiss was one of the headliners. So I got to see Kiss last summer, and they're still doing their thing.
Man, yeah.
Even bigger.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's see. I listened to your album, and I really like your cover of All of the Day and All of the Night by the Kinks.
Yeah.
Where'd you come up?
The Kinks, All Day and All of the Night.
Where'd you come up with doing that tune?
Oh, well, I go way back. When I was in high school, the Kinks just came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to play that song in high school. And we played all the Kinks songs, over the years. I covered Dedicated Follower of Fashion. And some of those songs that Ray Davies has written are just so great.
Oh, yeah.
So I started playing an acoustic version of All Day and All of the Night. And, it started out nice, but once you start, you just have to rock it out hard because that's what the Kinks were all about. back in the day, they were the punkiest of the British invasion bands, you know, the hardest edge version of, even harder, much harder than the Rolling Stones, who were like a blues band. But there was something about the Kinks that really was magical, and so that was my tribute to Ray Davies and the Kinks, and I think it really came out great.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Don't Fear the Reaper's kind of become pretty famous just because of the cowbell and Saturday Night Live, and like I told you before, we use that. I use that question all the time. Now,
yes.
Now when you listen to, you hear it on the radio, or you hear it on a CD, or you hear MP3 of it, it's like that cowbell isn't out there. It isn't, the presence of it isn't as dramatic as it is like on the vinyl.
Well,
did you find that?
Well, actually, I think it's the other way around. The vinyl, when they mastered the vinyl, you can hardly hear the cowbell
Mm-hmm.
at all. But when they remastered for
That
CD,
could be
they changed the tone that the cowbell is much louder on the CD. Yeah. And my theory is that the guys, we had it came out in 2000. So I think there was a compilation called The Best of the Blue Oyster Cult that came out in 1999.
Okay.
So the writers at Saturday Night Live got this CD, you know, and they're in the writer's room and probably smoking a doobie, and you know, they got the headphones on, and somebody says, "I hear a cowbell.
Yeah,
I hear a cowbell on this thing. This could be funny." You know, so Will Ferrell and Christopher Walken, and you know, the Saturday Night players at the time, they did a great job on that. And it was one of the things that in rehearsal, it wasn't that funny, you know. So they put it at the end of the show. It's the last thing of the night.
Oh, yeah.
The last thing of the night. And by that time, they were, you know, ready to, you know, do something crazy.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell put on that shirt that was too tight.
Yeah, that sweater that kept rolling up on his belly. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, you're right.
But nobody knew this was coming. I'll tell you.
Nah.
Nobody knew that was coming in the Blue Oyster Cult world.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't have dreamed it when we recorded it. But it's a true story.
Yeah.
It really is a true story. We finished the song. It was all recorded. It's a little different than the skit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cowbell was the last thing that was put on. Wasn't recorded with the song when we did the basic track. And I went to the studio, and the producer named David Lucas said, you know, we got to put a few extra things on this. We have one track left on the tape, so we're going to put some percussion on it. And he tried a few different things. He tried bongos, and that didn't work.
Nah.
He had a trumpet player there who played flugelhorn. He said, "Yeah, let's put the flugelhorn on there." And I said to David, I didn't contradict him, but I said, "David, that's the worst thing I've ever heard."
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So, luckily, we were spared more flugelhorn.
Yeah, really.
But anyway, he says to my brother, he says, "Albert, go out in the studio. I think it needs a cowbell." You know, and everybody looked at him like, "Oh, he's kind of crazy," you know. So Albert goes out in the studio, grabs a cowbell, he starts playing it, and I was sitting on the couch in the control room, and I was a little nervous because I didn't want him to screw it up. You know, you get to this point when it all sounds great, you know, you don't want to screw it up now. So he goes out and nails it, one take. That was it. Was done, you know. And then I came back to the studio, you know, another week or so later, and heard the final mix, and it's